everybody? So, here's the thing. I've been thinking and thinking about this, but I just can't do it. There's this thought that's coming into my head since June, actually. And about, the woke books in the library. Because I thought, first I was like, I need to do a video about that. Or it's just sort of been weighing on me about doing a video about it, but I'm like, I can't do a video on it. It's like, if I do a video on it, I'll be showing the books, and then if I show the books, then that's sort of like, putting them out there to put the ideas for people to go and get these books, I just don't want to help that along at all, If you go to your local library, yours might be different than mine, but mine, they're constantly, always like the suggested books. They always have suggested books, which is fine, right? But they constantly, there's always more than one, a few at least of LGBTQ books, especially that are, there's other kinds too, but I don't really think they're quite as, bad of a thing, really. But the LGBTQ, the trans stuff, one today that was suggested, I kind of just sort of moved. But, instead of just sitting like this, I just put it like that. But anyway, that book, I had my younger girls with me when we walked in, and this just always is right in your face, and it's just, I cannot believe this is all, it's just constantly in your face. And the thing is, it's one thing to have books, geared towards people's beliefs and, identities, ethnic, whatever, but this is just different, This book was, I'm not he or she, I'm me. I can't even believe I'm telling you the name of the title of that book, but I didn't open the book. Why? And my daughter was like, that's not a she. What? He's a boy. My little girl, my youngest one. She just like looked at that. Both my daughters looked at that in disbelief. Like, I don't really talk to them much about that. They know a little bit. My older teenagers know more. Especially my daughter, we talk about it plenty, but this one's a little bit different. My daughter looked at it and she's like, what? He or she, that's a boy. And it's just crazy stuff. And then they had this one the other day that I did open up and look at, and I don't remember the title, and I don't care because I'm not saying any more titles if I can help it. But anyway, and it was about this, I think it was a horse or a donkey, I don't remember, and it wanted to be a unicorn, I think. Yeah. And then the unicorn wanted to be a horse or donkey, whatever it was. I think it was a horse, though. Anyway, and then the other creatures are rabbits and bears and foxes and whatever. And they're like, oh, no, you're not. That's just pretend. You're just wearing a unicorn, a little unicorn, and that's not what you are. And she's like, oh, yes, I am that. And then finally at the end of it all, because she went to one little group of animals, another group of animals, another group of animals, and they weren't accepting her as what she was pretending to be, because she was obviously not a unicorn. She was just wearing a little unicorn thing. It's one thing, though, for imagination. You could look at it and be like, it's just imagination. Okay, so, if it wasn't what it was, it would be like, okay, so play along and let her play, no big deal. But the thing is this is not about teaching imagination and play. This is about something real. And at the end, so she meets a unicorn, and the unicorn says, you are a unicorn. I see you. And then the horse is like, oh, yes, and you are, because the unicorn was, talking about wanting to be a horse. And the horse says, oh, and you are a horse. I see you. Now, that this I see you thing is key talk, And then there was another one that I saw the other day about little boys, and it was a little black boy, and I think that's significant because in their culture, especially really in their culture, this is like a big no-no thing. Or was, with the black people I grew up with. It just wouldn't. Well, there was this one guy, but he was a gay guy. It wasn't like a trans thing. Anyway, that's one thing, like the gay thing or whatever, but trans, that would be a major no-go for them back when I was younger anyway. You know, I mean, it's a pretend drawing, but the, you know, the character in the book, but he looked real, you know, real-like looking characters. And he looks, and anyway, and so he has a skirt, and he's like, you know, all upset, and then the father's like, so what's the matter, what's wrong? And then the little boy's like, they keep calling me a girl. I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. But yeah, he's wearing this little tutu kind of pretty girly kind of skirt. It's just madness. Anyway, and it's like, so that's why I can't do a video about it. And there's no point in me doing Bible verses about it. There's no point in me. I can do it. If anybody ever wants me to show some Bible verses, I'll be happy to do it, but it's not necessary. You can Google Bible verses if you need help learning how to do that. I can easily, you know, give you guys some pointers on that. You know, you could use the if you get a study Bible, pretty easy to find some stuff that way. I mean, I know the Bible. I'm just saying. I'm just not going to spend some time on that because it's no point. It's just like, you know, there's just no point. It's obvious. Not to mention that God tells us that nature teaches plenty. All you have to do is look to nature to know that it's wrong. I mean, oh my goodness, I just am not even. I just can't. And the thing is that, you know, this is in our face all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it because a public library is public. It's not a church. You know, it's not a Christian entity. However, all our tax money does go into that. And whatever else, wherever else they get their money, I imagine donations and stuff. But, you know, there is one thing. Don't pick out these books and do videos and show everybody and talk about it in church and stuff like that. You want to know why? It's not necessary for one thing. It's just not. They all teach, they're all about the same thing. It's just not. The other thing is, the more you check out these books, the more they think people want to see these books because they have, you know, the algorithm thing letting them know that these books are getting checked out. So to them, they're books that just furthers their, you know, thing, because then they're like, oh, people really do want these books. People really are reading these books. People really are checking out these books. So you're just proving their point, even though you're not proving their point. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do about that. So sorry, but I'm not doing a video. I'm doing a video about not doing a video. It's just I just can't go any further than that. It's just crazy. But go to your local library. It's pretty bad. It's just seriously, I mean, June, we all know that and the baby books. Oh, wait, no, let's talk a wee bit more. You know, it goes baby books, it goes junior high and high school. Oh, and the high school section books. I don't know how you guys' library is, but it's like they have books that are decent books for teens. But they also have a whole lot of stuff that nobody should be reading. A whole lot of it. Anyway, and then the baby books, and that's not just trans stuff, that's just stuff. A lot of, you know, stuff that they just shouldn't be thinking about really yet. It's just too much. And I'm pretty sure you guys can use your imaginations there, but. And the baby books, man alive, the baby books. You know, they have, one is about, I don't know, black baby princess something. And in a way, I don't see anything wrong with that. But the only thing wrong with that is that the only group that can't have something like that is white people. And why should we want to, really? And why should they want to? I mean, they should want to in a way. And so maybe white people should in a way. But I think that there's good and there's bad on that, you know? Yeah, okay, it's good to recognize, you know, the beauty of each group of people. But at the same time, all that stuff causes pridefulness and division. And another one... Oh, but anyway, so that really, I don't like that one. I'm just sort of on the fence about that, to be honest with you. But like I said, I just don't like that it does teach pridefulness, and it, you know, then the little black kids might be like, oh, I'm so beautiful because I'm black and you're not. You know, that's the kind of thing that gets into little kids' heads eventually, the ones who are reading those kinds of books, though. That's just the problem. Other than that, yeah, it can teach them that they are beautiful, you know, being little black children. So it's just, you know... But anyway, but the bad ones are, and there's one called Racist Baby, and I didn't read that much. I saw a few pages, and the thing is, babies aren't racist. They don't even need to be taught not to be racist, really. It's just, I mean, yeah, they do as they get older because they're going to see stuff and hear stuff and whatever. But little babies, 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, maybe yes and maybe no. It's just crazy though, because babies are, they're loving. They just don't see that. They'll see skin color, they'll notice that people are different. They might even have some fears at first, but you can teach them stuff without these crazy books and terms. I don't know. Like I said, I can sort of see good and bad in that kind of thing. I just don't know. But I just feel like but they have an agenda with this stuff. That's just the thing. Oh, and then it talked about how the child needs to apologize for accidentally being racist. That's just the kind of thing that it just drives me nuts. And then, anyway, and then they do have I can't remember even now, but they have like a handful of books about, little baby boys being girls and girls being boys. I mean the trans stuff, So, yeah, it's just, and it's there for all the babies to see, but they can't read, so it's not like they really know. But, like, say if a 4-year-old grabbed that stuff, it's like, we can obviously guide our children and teach them, and we're not going to be able to keep them from all this stuff, but it's just, just so in your face. I don't know. And the thing is, it being there is like trying to teach these kids to be something, especially that one that I told you about, a couple of them that I told you, about the boy wanting to wear the dress and still be called a boy, and then the other one saying that they're not a boy or a girl. It is teaching children stuff, though, because then even if a parent tries to teach their kids something, it's just putting that seed in their mind might be all it takes for them to question their parents. It's just madness. I think the only thing that you could do is not check out these books. Be aware that they're there. Talk to your kids about them when you see them. Just, don't even take your kids away from those books, to be honest with you. Because if you do, they're going to see it somewhere else. They're going to see it when you're not there anyway. Either when they're little or when they're older. Just, it's at the point where when I was, a younger mother, when I was first starting out being a mother. Okay, I guess this is getting to be kind of longer video than I thought, but anyway, when I was a younger mother, I wanted to protect my kids from all the bad. And you can do it to a certain point. Or you could have, like 10, 15 years ago when I was starting out being a mother, 16 years ago. But now you can't. You just can't. It's out there. It's in your face, especially if you send your kids to public school. But also Christian schools, please do not think that Christian schools are as Christian as you think they are. Because most of them, they're not. You think they are, just wait. Anyway, so, don't... You know what? In fact, purposefully take your kids to places like this. To the library, for one thing. To the stores. Take them to Target. Take them around the bad stuff, because if you don't show to them why it's bad or see what their first initial reaction is, see if they first recognize on their own that this is wrong, which they likely will. But take them to it so they can start talking to you about it, because you got to talk to them about it now, because it's only going to get worse. I mean, God told us that this time was coming, and this time has been here since the very beginning. It's never gone away. It's just more in our face, and it's growing. It's getting worse, but it's always been there, and it's just as bad as it always was. You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't know what I mean, but the problem is it's becoming more accepted and stuff. And so don't run away from it. Don't act like it's not there. Don't tell your kids don't look at it. Look at it. Don't check the books out though, like I told you, because then the algorithm's gonna be like, we want these books. People do want these books. And no, you could just point out, you don't even have to, you can let them look at the pages. I let my teenager look at the pages. I'll let them look at the pages. Then we'll talk about it being wrong. Talk about this stuff being wrong when they're not looking at it. Let them know that it's there, that they've got to be prepared for the times that they're in now. God has allowed us to have these children in these times. Like, if I had it in me, I'd tell people don't have kids in these times. But at the same time, God said that we're going to be fruitful and multiply, and that's what we're supposed to do that, and we're supposed to go out into all the world and, all this stuff. But these kids are here now, and, I would even say don't be afraid to have kids. But then I'd say maybe you should. That's a decision up to you. But those of us who already have kids in this world, don't don't keep them away from this stuff. Let them see it, and then talk to them about it, because they're gonna run into it anyway. They're gonna see it in school, they're gonna see it in the library, they're gonna see it somewhere. And for those of you that think that Target is such a horrible place, worse than everywhere else, they're not worse. That's like saying a priest who does sin in private isn't as bad, you know, because he does his sins in secret. You know what I mean by that is, okay, go to any other store, go to the magazine section, and you know, like Harris Teeter has a big magazine section. Go there, look at the magazines they have. One time I saw on the very front cover was something very, very bad, you know. I can't remember exactly what it was some guy who totally looked female and stuff, and he was not, but it was obvious, at least they said it and stuff. But it's out there. There's lots of stuff like that. The Kohl's, I'm sorry, Kohl's is a fine place, but they sell G-strap, you know, whatever, like swimsuits that girls shouldn't be wearing. I mean, that's just off the top of my head kind of thing. But, you know, that sin has been everywhere in all these stores all along. Cigarettes, sorry, but that's sinful. It never should have been sold. And that's sold, you know, in multiple stores. Beer, yeah, I don't believe in drinking. I know a lot of you be like, oh, just one. But the thing is, it leads to alcoholism, so whatever. But the thing is that these places, they don't control how many drinks people are having and how many boxes of beers. They don't care if somebody buys, you know, 3, 5, 7 boxes of beers. That's the most sinful part of it that probably you guys just haven't really thought of. Sin is everywhere. You can't avoid shopping at stores because there's sin, because you just don't buy the bad stuff. You know, none of these stores are Christian. They might have some Christian people running them or some people Christian working in them. You know, and God said to go out into all the world. So you do need to go out there and be an example. You can be an example just by what you're not buying. You know, you could end up, you know, giving some sort of comforting words to someone that you didn't expect that would happen one day. Or you could be like me one day. It's happened a couple of times where I found kids lost in the store, completely lost, like in Target. That it happened once in Target, and this kid was, once in Target, and this kid was really, really, really lost. And then another time there was this kid getting lost in Target, and the father didn't notice that this child started to go in a completely different direction. And then he looked at me crazy because I told him, hey, your kid's going that way. And that kid was at least 8 feet away from the father, maybe 6 at the very least. And the father just looked at me like I was nuts. He was going one direction, and that kid started to wander off towards the door, like didn't realize that their father wasn't going through the out. Instead, he was going towards, you know, the movie section or whatever. Kid thought that, because they had stopped, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what got into the kid's head, but they thought that the father was, they started following this other guy, I guess, that looked like his father. And I noticed the separation. This kid started to follow the wrong person. I could tell because I saw the kid with the father, and then all of a sudden this other guy, they stopped at the same point on this corner. And then the other man who looked so much like his father just started to go that way, and he started to follow the wrong person. So you just don't know. Don't be like, oh, I'm not going to go there because maybe God sent you. I feel like God sent me both of those times, because both those times I wasn't going to go to the store and I wasn't going to go to Target, and I did. You know, but there's sin in every one of these stores. They all sell it, you know. Well, I can't say every single store, but you know, a lot of stores sell things that they shouldn't sell. Or like I said with the beer, they don't stop people from buying too much, you know. And there's other things, like I said, the magazines that sell crap in them. And then, you know, not to mention also, there's another thing that society has done wrong, that people who claim to be Christians and don't realize that this is not okay, because there's not verses exactly saying don't be half naked and stuff, you know, but like magazines where you know, that they want to sell sports or I don't know, whatever, and then they'll have, you know, girls in, you know, very skimpy swimming suits. I mean, there's magazines like that, you know. And the beer companies, and everybody all up in arms about, oh no, the beer, they have what's his face on it, anyway, I don't want to say his Dylan Mulvaney. Oh, I don't care, I'll say his name. But anyway, and they'll have Dylan Mulvaney on there, and they're all up in arms about how sinful that is, but then they want to sit there and be like, we want naked women to represent our beer. They're both sin. And this is where these guys get this idea that that's what it is to be a woman, to dress skimpily, because of the skimpily clad women and how the macho men have said that those are who the beautiful women are. Anyway, so I'm just rattling on at this point, but there's only so much you can say and so much you can do about this stuff, but you can't keep your kids from it. So, of course, the smutty stuff you don't want your little kids seeing, but your teenagers, you might not want to really keep them from that either. At least let them know it's out there so you can discuss it, Anyway, so that's all I got to say now. I have one other video idea, but I'm going to do it a different day because I've already spent 21 minutes rattling off, saying not much of anything. But if you get anything out of this video is, don't go thinking that only Target is the only sinful place just because their sin is out in front and everybody else hides their sin in the middle of the store or in the back of the store, or little bits here and little bits there, because believe me, it's there. Certain stores, they may not be anything about pride, but mostly, yeah, because of pushback, so that's good, right? But there is going to be bits of sinful stuff here and there. There just is. And so it's, it's just like saying, okay, well, they're bad because they're telling you that they're bad. Well, the others aren't bad because they're not telling you, So just be aware of that. Just buy the things that you need to buy. And another thing is, because you think that some other store is so great because they don't have that stuff. Meanwhile, maybe the owner is a Democrat voting for Biden. But you don't know that because they don't have some big sign saying the owner votes for Biden. You know what I mean? Buy what you gotta buy, get what you need. If the only place close to you is a Target, Walmart's, okay, is it holier? Heck if I know. Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the owners, the managers, they could all be voting for Biden for all you know. They could be, supporting, abortion, or they could be alcoholics for all you know. Maybe they're abusive to their wives. You don't know. Buy what you gotta buy, because you know what? None of those places is Jerusalem. And if we're even going to talk about Jerusalem, even Jerusalem in Israel is sinful. They've got huge pride parades, except for I didn't hear anything about this year, but look it up online. There have been some huge pride parades in Israel. So not even that place is holy. Yeah, it is because it's God's land, but there's sin there. That's what I'm saying. There's sin everywhere. You can't escape it just because you think it's not there, or because it's not out in front, out in the open saying, look at us. Some might be prideful about their sin, and while others are kind of putting it over in the corner somewhere where you might not know. So, yeah, just what I'm saying is there's not much we can do to beat it, except for to pray and raise our kids to be strong in these times, and for them to be the example more than us, because, yeah, we can be example to the other parents, maybe, I don't know, but we need to teach our kids. That's pretty much all we can do. And so don't run from it. You can't run from the bad. You can't keep them from all the bad. Sorry, but it's just the truth. Anyway, that's my video, everybody. Be strong, and be very strong in these times. Do not be afraid of all this stuff. Don't be afraid of your kids knowing about it, because you're not going to be able to protect them from it. Instead, prepare them for it. All right, well, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.